Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaur Primanandi, Jayam Vishupad Paramahamsa, Privraj Gacharya Stotra Satya Sri Simad, His Divine Grace, Chilabai Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, Niskandibiti, Founder Acharya's Divine Grace Sri Prabhupada Ki, Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki, Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Janitai Gaura Pimanandi, all that is to be assembled devotees, all that is to be assembled devotees, all that is to be assembled devotees, all that is to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all that is to Sri Prabhupada. Tissue. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Taksuranmiritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatan Ditam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanditam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kantana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarubhyascha Pipa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam pavanebhyo vaisnavebhyo namo namaha. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayashabhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati tamasloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamitam Utamasloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nisreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasthaya Namaha. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God as Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Surabhyaya Namaha.
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 Mukam karoti vasalam pangom langayate girim yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to our morning Bhagavatam class. We are continuing from the first canto. Very nice Mangolino. Special occasions. First canto, chapter 4, entitled The Appearance of Sri Narada. And today we are looking at text number 14, 1-4. So we might do more than one text depending on the purport, both content and how long the purport is. So we'll begin with 14. The background for those who are just attending the first time. The setting is in the forest of Naimisharanya, and Shonaka Rishi has welcomed Sutta Goswami, who has returned after hearing the rendering of the Srimad Bhagavatam as spoken by Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. And the sages in Naimisharanya are asking different questions after welcoming Sutta Goswami, recognizing him, uh, praising him, respecting him. And after asking these different questions, now Sutta Goswami will begin to reply. Sutta Uvacha
Sutta Uvacha
Dvapare
Dvapare
Samanuprapte
Samanuprapte
Tritiye
Tritiye
Yuga
Yuga
Paryaye
Paryaye
Jataha
Jataha
Parasharad
Parasharat
Yogi
Yogi
Vasavyam
Vasavyam
Kalaya
Kadaya
Harehe
Harehe
Sutta Uvacha
Sutta Uvacha
Dvapare Samanuprapte
Dvapare Samanuprapte
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Jata Parasharad Yogi
Jata Parasharad Yogi
Vasavyam Kalaya Harehe
Vasayam Kalaya Hare
Sutta Uvacha
Sutta Uvacha
Dvapare Samanuprapte
Dvapare Samana Prapte
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Jata Parasharad Yogi
Jata Parasharad Yogi
Vasavyam Kalaya Harehe
Vasayam Kalaya Hare
Sutta Uvacha
Sutta Uvacha
Dvapare Samanuprapte
Dvapare Samana Prapte
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Jata Parasharad Yogi
Jata Parasharad Yogi
Vasavyam Kalaya Harehe
Vasayam Kalaya Hare
Sutta Uvacha
Sutta Uvacha
Dvapare Samanuprapte
Dvapare Samana Prapte
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Jata Parasarad Yogi
Jata Parasharad Yogi
Vyasavyam Kalaya Harehe
Vasavyam Kalaya Hare
Sutta Uvacha
Dvapare Samanuprapte
Dvapare
Samana
Samanuprapte
Prapte
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Jataha Parasharat Yogi
Jata
Jata
Parasharad
Parasharad
Yogi
Yogi
Vasavyam Kalya Harihi
Vasavyam Kalaya Harehe
Sutta Uvacha
Sutta Uvacha
Dvapare Samana Prapte
Dvapare Samanuprapte
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Jata Parasharad Yogi
Jata Parasharad Yogi
Vyasayam Kalaya Hare
Vasavyam Kalaya Harehe Sutta Uvacha
Dvapare Samanuprapte
Dvapare
Prapte
Samanuprapte
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Jata Parasharat Yogi
Jata Parasharad Yogi
Vasavyam Kalaya Harihi
Vasavyam Kalaya Harehe
Sutta Uvacha
Sutta Uvacha
Dvapare Samanuprapte
Dvapare Samanuprapte
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Tritiye Yuga Paryaye
Jata Parasharat Yogi
Jata Parasharad Yogi
Vyasabham Kalaye Hare
Vasavyam Kalaya Harehe Sutta
Sutta
Sutta Goswami
Sutta Goswami
Uvacha
Uvacha
said
said
Dvapare
Dvapare
in the second millennium
in the second millennium
Samanuprapte
Samana Prapte
on the advent
on the advent
of
of
Tritiye
Tritiye
third
third
Yuga
Yuga
millennium
millennium
Paryaye,
Paryaye,
in the place of
in the place of
Jataha,
Jataha,
was begotten
was begotten
Parasharat
Parasharat
by Parashara.
by Parashara,
Yogi,
Yogi,
the great sage,
the great sage,
Vasaryam,
Vasaryam,
in the womb of the daughter of Vasu.
in the womb of the daughter of the Vasu,
Kalaya,
Kalaya,
in the plenary portion,
in the plenary portion,
Harehe,
Hare,
of the personality of Godhead.
of the personality of Godhead.
Sutta Goswami said, so translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jai.
Sutta Goswami said that when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born of Parashara in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu. Kindly repeat after me. Sutta Goswami said,
Sutta Goswami said,
when the second millennium
when the second millennium
overlapped the third,
overlapped the third,
the great sage
the great sage
Vyasadeva
Vyasadeva
was born of Parashara
was born to the Parashara
in the womb of Satyavati,
in the womb of Satyavati,
the daughter of Vasu.
the daughter of Vasu.
Report. There is a chronological order of the four millenniums, namely Satya, Dwapara, Treta, and Kali. But sometimes there is overlapping. During the regime of Vaivasvata Manu, Hare Krishna, there was an overlapping of the 28th round of the four millenniums, and the third millennium appeared prior to the second. In that particular millennium, Lord Sri Krishna also descends. And because of this, there was some particular alteration. The mother of the great sage was Satyavati, the daughter of the Vasu fisherman, and the father was the great Parasara Muni. That is the history of Vyasadeva's birth. Every millennium is divided into 3 periods, and each period is called a sandhya. Vyasadeva appeared in the third sandhya of that particular age. Translation again. Sutta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born of Parashara in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu. So this is giving us a little insight in terms of the chronology of time. Means that there are 4 yugas. Actually, that's nicely explained later in the Bhagavatam in detail. 4 yugas in the order mentioned here in the purport, normally beginning with Satya, then normally Dwapara, 2, and Treta, of course, means 3. So the third millennium is normally Treta, and the fourth is Kali. But sometimes, as Prabhupada mentions here, they overlap. Why they overlap? There's so many factors. Um, when such overlapping takes place, or when it took place in this particular um, yeah, different millenniums are governed by different manus. So this is when Lord Krishna descends. Um, and this is explaining how Srila Vyasadeva appeared from the daughter of the fisherman. This is all narrated also in Mahabharata in greater detail. And at the end of the purport, Prabhupada mentions how every millennium is divided into 3 periods. And each period is called a sandhya. just like just like every day is also divided into 3 periods. There are 3 sandhyas: morning, noon, and evening. So, so Sri Vyasadeva appeared in the 3rd sandhya, means he appeared at the end of Dwapara Yuga. Krishna also appeared at that time, and that Dwapara, normally after Dwapara is Treta, but Treta appeared before. So this time after Dwapara, here we are, Kali Yuga. So Sutta Goswami is beginning to explain how it came about that this knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam was given, and he's in this way introducing. So sandhyas, one can calculate actually the duration of sandhya. We were discussing some time back. Anyone know how long is a sandhya? Actually, days are divided into muhurtas. Days are also divided. I don't. Huh? I have to speak louder because we have some competition this morning. Days are also divided into, like this, say, astaprahar. What is prahar? 3 hours. Astaprahar, 24 hours. 8 times 3. Because in Bengal here especially, they have Astaprahar Kirtan, non-stop. 24-hour Kirtan. They have maybe sometimes more, but it's quite popular. 24 non-stop Kirtan. So normally prahar means actually prahar is approximately 2 hours. It's like before the sun rises and after the sun rises. Again at noontime, and then evening before, 1 hour maybe before the sun sets, and then 1 hour after the sun sets. Interesting subject matter to study because during Sandhya, this is when Brahmanas, not only Brahmanas, those who are twice born, the Dvijas, they chant Gayatri during Sandhya. Because Sandhya, it means that there will be some change, isn't it? Like in the morning, when we come from Mangalarti, it's dark. After Mangalarti, because Sandhya is replacing darkness to light. Evening Sandhya is replacing light to darkness. And so animals, they follow Sandhya, right? Because animals don't have access to electricity. Means by nature, after the sun sets, it's supposed to be dark. But we are very advanced. And we have managed to trick nature. Even at nighttime, it's not dark. Actually, in places like Japan, and I think not only Japan, but some countries, they have built like underground cities, especially Japan, because in Tokyo, which is one of the largest populated cities in the world, Japan is not a big place, but they have big population. So you can only build so many buildings on the surface. So they have people actually working and staying and living underground, never see the sun, practically, because they're living underground. These things are not natural, of course, and therefore we should learn from, that's mentioned in the Bhagavatam, we should learn from the animal kingdom. Different animals can teach us so many lessons. Important lesson, of course, is that soon after the sun sets, animals generally, they take rest. So human beings also should be taking rest within a reasonable period of time. So this is just like setting the stage, and we'll continue reading a few verses. Yes?
Guru Puja in say Dhyanstuvaya Sandhyam. Представляется важность текста.
In Guru Puja, it is glorifying also that Sankhya, that he was.
You mean in Mangalarti?
Mangalarti.
Yeah. So there is reference to Sandhya because the morning prayers are in glorification of the spiritual master, and therefore we are meant to remember, to honor, and to meditate on the Guru, on the spiritual master, 3 times a day. So yeah, Sandhya is also mentioned there. Okay, text number 15. Sa kadachit sarasvatya upasprisya jalam shuchihi vivikta eka asina udite ravi mandale. Translation and purport. Once upon a time, he, Vyasadeva, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the waters of the Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate. Purport. The river Saraswati is flowing in the Badrikashrama area of the Himalayas. So the place indicated here is Samyaprasa. Samyaprasa in Badrikashrama, where Sri Vyasadeva is residing. So Prabhupada is telling is residing, not used to reside. Means Vyasadeva is still residing there. Himalaya is a very interesting place because there are sages who, through yogic practice, by breath control, because all of us, our life span is determined by the number of breaths. Every time we take birth, it is according to karma, determined that we will live according to how many times we will breathe. So those are yogis, they know this, and they slow down their breath. That's also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, to such an extent that one can actually stop breathing, or at least slow it down to a very, very difficult for us to imagine. So there are yogis actually in the Himalayas who, and Vyasadeva is one of them, who are still living since thousands of years. Some of them are actually waiting for Kali Yuga to go by and waiting for such. It's like waiting for the winter to go by so that spring and summer, better seasons, better times. So Vyasadeva was one fine morning sitting on the banks of the Saraswati and doing his morning duties. Morning duties means morning prayers. Okay, text 16. Paravaragna sarishihi
Pavaradnasa Rishihi
kalena vyakta ramhasa
Kalena Vektaram Hasa
yugadharma vyatikaram
Yugadharma Vyatikaram
praptam bhuvi yuge yuge.
Praptam Yuge.
Translation and purport. That the great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happens on the earth in different ages due to unseen forces in the course of time. Purport. The great sages like Vyasadeva are liberated souls, and therefore they can see clearly past and future. That is called Trikalagya. Trikalagya, knowing present, past, and future. Thus, he could see the future anomalies of the Kali Yuga, of the in the Kali age, and accordingly, he made arrangement for the people in general so that they can execute a progressive life in this age, which is full of darkness. The people in general in this age of Kali are too much interested in matter, which is temporary. Because of ignorance, they are unable to evaluate the assets of life and be enlightened in spiritual knowledge. As Prabhupada often would quote from the Bhagavatam, Nate vidu svartagatim hi Vishnu. Nate vidu, general people, they don't know the Swartha gatim, swartha. Human form of life is a very special asset. Just like if we have money, we can do things, we can buy things, we can travel. So, artha generally means money, but artha also means asset. Asset means things that can help us to do things. So this body, this very human form of life is a very special, you could call it, gift of nature, asset, by which we can acquire knowledge, by which we can understand why we are suffering, isn't it, in the material world, and by which we can understand how to put an end to our suffering. Something that other species, other lower species of life, animals, insects, reptiles, etc., they cannot do. They are just subjected, they are forced by the laws of nature to continue or live out their suffering condition. So, Srila Vyasadeva, because of his transcendental realization, could understand that Kali Yuga is coming, and here it mentions that out of compassion, he wanted to make arrangements, which he did, of course, and this will be narrated as we read this section here. Okay, text 17:18. Bhotikanam cha bhavanam
Bhutikānām ca bhāvanām
Shakti rasam chatat kritam
Shakti rasam ca tatkritam
asradhanam nisatvam
Shradanam sattva
dhurmedhan rasitayushaha
Dhurmedharudayat
Dhurbhagamscha janan vikshya munir divyena chakshusha sarva varnasramanam yad sarva varnasramanam yad Dadyo hitam amogadhirik. Translation and purport. The great sage, who was fully equipped in knowledge, could see, through his transcendental vision, the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in a duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus he contemplated for the welfare of men in all statuses and orders of life. Purport. The unmanifested forces of time are so powerful that they reduce all matter to oblivion in due course. In Kali Yuga, the last millennium of a round of 4 millenniums, the power of all material objects deteriorates by the influence of time. In this age, the duration of the material body of the people in general is much reduced, and so is the memory. The action of matter has also not so much incentive. The land does not produce food grains in the same proportions as it did in older ages. The cows do not give as much milk as it used to give formerly. The production of vegetables and fruits is less than before. As such, all living beings, both men and animals, do not have sumptuous, nourishing food. Due to want of so many necessities of life, naturally, the duration of life is reduced, the memory is short, intelligence is meager, mutual dealings are full of hypocrisy, and so on. So we can all attest and see this in our own, with our own eyes, the ill effects that Srila Vyasadeva was foreseeing are happening, and increasingly happening as well. So the rest of the purport here, the great sage Vyasadeva could see this by his transcendental vision, as an astrologer can see the future fate of a man, or as an astronomer can foretell the solar and lunar eclipses. Those liberated souls who can see through the scriptures or can foretell the future of all mankind. They can see this due to their sharp vision of spiritual attainment. And all such transcendentalists who are naturally devotees of the Lord are always eager to render welfare service to the people in general. They are the real friends of the people in general, not the so-called public leaders who are unable to see what is going to happen 5 minutes ahead. In this age, the people in general, as well as their so-called leaders, are all unlucky fellows, faithless in spiritual knowledge and influenced by the age of Kali. They are always disturbed by various diseases. For example, in the present age, there are so many TB patients and TB hospitals, but formerly this was not so because the time was not so unfavorable. The unfortunate men of this age are always reluctant to give a reception to the transcendentalists who are representative of Srila Vyasadeva, and selfless workers are always busy in planning something which may help everyone in all statuses and orders of life. The greatest philanthropists are those transcendentalists who represent the mission of Vyasa, Narada, Madhava, Chaitanya, Rupa, Saraswati, etc. They are all one and the same. The personalities may be different, but the aim of the mission is one and the same, namely to deliver the fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. So that is why we are here in Sridham Mayapur. That is why we are attending Srimad Bhagavatam class. That is why we're getting up for Mangalarti, most of us. To understand that we are part, this is very important at the end, Prabhupada is telling, we are part of a mission. We are on a mission of life. Mission of life. If we miss this opportunity of the mission of life, then we find ourselves remaining in the material world and maybe in lower species of life. Of course, for devotees, guaranteed to at least get human form next life. That is one great advantage. Otherwise, the general mass of people who don't know about Krishna and who are not practicing Krishna consciousness, their future is very uncertain. So just like Srila Vyasadeva had this very clear understanding, being spiritually advanced as Srila Prabhupada also had this same understanding. Prabhupada mentions all these, so many different acharyas, they're all meditating on the same mission, which is to save the conditioned souls. Especially in Kali Yuga, there is no shortage of fallen conditioned souls. Yes.
Вопрос. Правильно, вот здесь в тексте использовано слово «варнашами». Вы правильно понимаете, что в нашем комментарии, что Павел сказал, что помогать или контролировать людям, мы должны учитывать их варну, потому что Вайшем помогаем по-особому, шатры, ну, каждый индивидуальный подход, шатры по-особому, шуры по-особому.
In the verse it is said Varnashama. So in a purport also Srila Prabhupada said we have to help to the conditioned souls. So question is it true that when we are trying to help to conditioned souls, we have to keep in mind their varnas? Because different varnas we have to help them in different ways, like for Vaishyas in different way, with Kshatriyas in different way.
So basically his question is, as mentioned in the purport, that we have to help the conditioned souls who are in different varnas. So the question is it important for us to know how to help people according to their varna? Is that the question? I think that's the question. Right? How to help, yes. Yes, Srila Prabhupada explains how so in order for society to properly function, we must introduce the traditional standard Vedic social system of varnasrama. So that means understanding the differences between these varnas and asrama, and accordingly, according to one's varna, according to one's asrama, help those individuals who fall in these different categories. We can also help, even if we don't know the varna or ashram of someone, we can of course help them by introducing them to Krishna consciousness in terms of chanting the holy name, in terms of engaging them in different ways on the spiritual platform, but simultaneously, especially those who are meant to be teachers in society, means the brahmanas, they also need to understand about varnasrama. Why? Because majority of people actually need to function within a particular varna and a particular ashram. So that means that to facilitate, to help people function in a particular varna and asrama, we must know about varna and asrama. Our acharyas and Shastra, of course, glorify devotional service as being the topmost activity. But the Shastra and our Acharyas also recognize and understand that most people cannot immediately be engaged in pure devotional service because of their being influenced by the modes of material nature. And therefore, those who are still under the influence of the modes of material nature, which means actually the vast majority of people, which means also the vast majority of our devotees, as stated by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the system of Varnasrama is for the Vaishnavas who are still in their conditioned state. It's for Vaishnavas in their conditioned states. So yes, it is important for us, especially those who will be taking on the natural leadership positions that are there within Varnasrama, means Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya. The Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishyas are the natural leaders in Vedic culture, and therefore they specialize in their particular area. Brahmanas specialize in topics of education. They specialize in teaching. Kshatriyas specialize in administrating, governing, protecting, and Vaishyas in producing. So they must know their particular area of expertise, and they must know how to engage people in those different areas. So all of this may seem like difficult to understand and difficult to apply, but it becomes much easier when we agree to live a more natural life. Just like we're talking about Sandhya. Sandhya. The first Sandhya, human beings, they should be awake. They should rise early to take advantage of that Sandhya. So in the same way that we should live in harmony with nature, so we should learn to live in harmony with our own nature. We must know, we must understand what is our own nature. And this can more easily be done when we live the recommended lifestyle that is described in the Shastra. What is that lifestyle? Vrindavan lifestyle. Yeah, make Vrindavan village. So that ideal lifestyle, natural lifestyle, simple lifestyle, scientific lifestyle is the one that Krishna and Balaram showed us, isn't it? The residents of Vrindavan. If we, the more we do this, the more we come close to this lifestyle, then our natural, qualities, our nature will come out more spontaneously, and also it will be more. It will be easier to establish good relationship. The respective role and duties of men and women will become more clear. Now it's not clear. In modern day society, men and women are performing all kinds of activities some of which are not natural. When we live as we are meant to, then our natural ways of living, our nature comes out more easily. Yeah. Any other?
Нет, дополнение просто о том, что Кришна в Бхагавад-гите говорит, что ты следователь нашему должен не только когда в обусловленном состоянии, но и когда в освобожденном состоянии. То есть Барседу, что взять, например, Шаунджи следует Варнашрама.
Also in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said to Arjuna, you have to follow to the Varnashrama not only when you are in conditioned stage, also when you are liberated, to show the example for other people.
То есть даже освобожденный преданный следует Варнашрама.
Even liberated devotee, he's following Varnashrama.
Yes, so the point is that especially those who are conditioned should follow Varnashrama, and even those who are liberated, they will respect and generally will also follow Varnashrama. But those who are liberated souls are not always obliged to follow everything about Varnashrama. Those who are liberated souls, they don't always have to follow, but generally they will. Because society is divided in a natural way, and so people will take up some particular role or responsibility. But it becomes less, we could say, obligatory, and not always necessary for those liberated souls to follow all the details of Varnashrama. So we need to close now. If there are other questions, we can take them later, maybe. Yeah. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Sri Prabhupada ki, Gaura Premanandi.
Jai.